Hello and a very good evening. Thank you for tuning in here to Times Now. The show is called The Breaking Ground and I'm Deepthi Sachdeva. Not very long ago, remember, is where Rahul Gandhi had spoken of a quote-unquote a khata-khat model. He said, aapke account mein paise aayenge, khata-khat, khata-khat, khata-khat. Now, a lot of things have changed between him making that promise and between today, when you have groups literally up in arms against the Congress government in the state of Karnataka. Why exactly? We'll tell you that. And I want to begin with a little graphic that our team has prepared for you to introduce what we are talking about. Congress Hatao, Dalit Bachao. Why has the story come down to this? And who really are these people who have this war cry? There has been a huge protest in the state of Karnataka with this particular war cry, saying Congress Hataiye, Dalit Bachaiye. Now, clearly you see a lot of politics in this at a point where, again, a lot of focus has been on the caste reservation. Let's quickly bring up details of what has happened as far as the protest is concerned. We are putting out those images on your screens and also will detail what this attack is all about. Now, protests like these have erupted in different parts of Karnataka. You see all these people wearing these blue collars. Now, these are people actually identified with particular caste groups. They also represent a lot of the Ahinda community. What is that Ahinda community? I'll tell you in just a moment. But the attack has been very clear. The allegation is that a lot of fund that was meant for the SC/ST communities, the Ahinda communities, is actually being diverted for the Congress's quote-unquote guarantees. The allegation again is that the Congress does not have money. They've not been able to figure out from where will they fund these guarantees. And the allegation is also that the Congress policies right now in the state have become anti-people. So what really is at the genesis of this? I also want to see if we can get in our colleague Imran in just a moment. But first up, I want you to listen in to one of the protesters who's been spearheading this entire fight and why he says Congress Hatao, Dalit Bachao.
Both of these two parties have failed, and also the JDS is also sinking strongly and is aligned with the BJP. What we need is an alternative ideological vision and an alternative mobilization, and that alternative mobilization is built on equality, justice, and the Constitution's preamble. Congress has kind of built a narrative that BJP is against the Constitution. We hold that BJP, Congress, JDS are all kind of undermining the tenets of the Constitution. If anybody upholds the Constitution, it is us equalitarians, what we say Buddha Basva Ambedkar in Karnataka, Ambedkar Periyar Kanchiramites. We build a transformative movement for equality.
So they said that this is a policy of equality. But Imran, what really has gone wrong between the Congress making those promises of aapke account mein khata-khat paise aayenge to a situation where they are now forced to use funds that are actually meant for the SC/ST communities, and that is being diverted for the guarantees. What is the charge and what is the defense?
Well, absolutely. In fact, what is the issue is that the Congress had come to power in Karnataka promising many poll manifestos, and 5 of their social welfare schemes was one of the key highlights on which Congress had promised. One is about free bus pass for women and about 2,000 rupees for every household woman there, and also other schemes like even also of giving free rice. Now, the issue over this is that many for this to sustain those schemes, the funds were diverted from the SC/ST fund. And that is the major grouse that most of the Dalit groups and OBCs are saying that they voted in full majority to the Congress, believing that the Congress, if we come back to power, they will take interest of the class which they're really banking on. However, what has happened that in order to sustain those promised welfare schemes, they have taken funds from their own beneficiary welfare schemes and they're diverted for the social welfare schemes. The Congress should have adjusted it with other ways, not through taking away funds which were meant for the most underprivileged and deprived communities. In fact, they went to the governor also and gave a memorandum to the governor over this issue, where they've listed out 4 or 5 issues. One is about diversion of funds allocated for the SC/ST for the guarantee schemes, and they're also angry over that the one of the scheme was called Prabuddha Overseas Scheme, where Dalit students were given stipends to if they got selected one of the Ivy League colleges to study there. That also funds have been cut down and diverted, is what they're saying. And the atrocities against Dalits and STs have risen since the Congress has come back to power, is one of their grounds. And they're now challenging the same Congress government, is saying that they why should we support Congress when they say that they'll protect their interests? However, many of their interests, whether it's a financial or social, are not being looked down upon. And in fact, many of the funds meant for them have been diverted for social welfare schemes.
All right, Imran, I think it's a very, very important story that you're fronting for us for the moment, and thanking you for getting us all that we know on the story so far. Let's quickly deep dive to bring you the top 5 questions at 5. You know, these are important questions today that a lot of people are asking. Is the Congress guilty of utilizing funds that were meant for the Ahinda towards the guarantees? And has the Congress really done that? This brings us to our second question. How has the Congress responded to these charges? Have they apologized? Have they said we'll not do this? We'll tell you that in just a moment. The third question, does this expose Congress's double speak on social justice? Rahul Gandhi says, jiski jitni abadi utna haq. But this clearly does not sound like that. The next question, was the Congress not aware of the cost of implementing Rahul Gandhi's quote-unquote the khatakhat model, or they kind of just wanted to go with this as a poll promise, later figured out that this is going to be really expensive? This brings us to our final question also that you see on your screens, because ladies and gentlemen, earlier today the RSS has also spoken up on the caste census. The RSS has tried to draw a line for the opposition by warning them that the caste census should not be used for politics. So who's guilty of using the caste card, the caste census card, when it comes to politics? All those answers in just a moment, with a panel of guests also joining us. But I want to answer one of these questions first. How has the Congress responded? Are they guilty of this charge? Have they apologized? Listen in.
This is politics, this is conspiracy against the Congress party. The government, and particularly the leader, Mr. Siddaramaiah, who brought in the act to reserve the budget in proportion to the Dalit population in Karnataka, is a revolutionary act. Nobody has done that. We are the second state to come up with an act like that. So when we have reserved 21% of the total budget itself for the welfare of the Dalit community, where does this acquisition stand? This is a political acquisition. In background, BJP and Sangh Parivar is working.
So the Congress says this is revolutionary, clearly not apologetic about what has happened. Let me quickly introduce our panel of guests joining us. We have Dr. Lakshmi Ashwin Gowda, who represents the BJP on the show. Also a pleasure to have Professor Geeta Bhatt, who's a political analyst, along with Khaleequr Rahman ji, who's also a political analyst, and TR Prasad Gowda is a leader of the Congress. He's completing our panel. Gowda ji, let's begin by asking you, did you cheat the SC/ST community? Did you cheat the Ahinda community? Because you've simply diverted funds meant for them for your guarantees. Why did you do this?
There is no question of diversion at all. And we are with the people, we are with the Dalit community, and there is no question of diversion, and there is no question of cheating, which is not meant for, which is not the word we are supposed to use on us. And we are with the people. We are the people. We are Congress is the party. Will take care of entire the only party in the state of Karnataka and in India who takes care of anybody's interest, all people's interest, irrespective of the caste, creed. That is only one party.
So why do you have, Gowda ji, why do you have different representatives of the Ahinda group? The Dalits were out on the streets. Why are they protesting? I want to, play out those images also. These are protests that have continued over the last few weeks. And all of them say that this is a government that promised something else, but they are guilty of, transferring funds meant for us to their guarantees. Is that not true?
Madam, we need to look into this. what types of people, at what whose instance these people are on the ground, whether they are really Dalits or they are they are on the ground, they are on own, or with the instance of other party, BJP.
No, what are you alleging?
Look into this.
Gowda ji, what are you alleging,
But
sir? You
all
are a very
Dalits
senior and a seasoned spokesperson. Are you saying that this is not the community, these are not true community representatives, but
Yes.
these are political protests? Is that what you're saying?
What I mean to say, all Dalit community are all happy with Congress, and we are they know very well. The only party who will take care of Dalit community is only Congress. No one else. The BJP will not care about Dalits. So the only party care about Dalits is Congress. But you are telling the people are out. We need to look into this. Who are on the ground and what their requirement. We need to check into this.
Okay, Gowda ji, now this is an opportunity for you to only say yes or no. The allegation is that about 12,000 crore of money was diverted that was meant for the SC/ST fund for your guarantee. Say yes or no.
We have never diverted any funds at all. We have already 36,000 crores allocated only for Dalit upliftment of Dalit community, diversion will never happen.
Let me get in the BJP then to respond to this. Dr. Lakshmi, then what is this fuss all about? The BJP is going to town, attacking the Congress, but here it's the Congress that is saying that, give us the proof, we haven't done this. So are you guilty of playing politics?
Thank you, Deepthi. Ever since Siddaramaiah-led Congress government come to the power, it has always been muddled with the conspiracies, corruption, and this political slugfest. They have been anti-Hindu, anti-Dalit, anti-Ahinda, and anti-women friendly and anti-developmental government. Ever since it has come to the power, it has been muddled with scams and scandals. It is the moral turpitude on the part of the CM of our state, Mr. Siddaramaiah, that he is directly involved in too many scandals and scams like Muda scams, and also the Valmiki Corporation now diverting the fund which is being allocated for SCP, TSP and their progression to implement their unscientific and the most myopic guarantee schemes and another unrelated things. Ever since they came to the power, rather than being the pro-Dalits, pro-Ahinda groups, pro-developmental team, they have been reinforcing anti-Dalit stance time and again.
But, Lakshmi, they say that this is just a conspiracy to defame. Now, I want to know which side is speaking the truth. They say that a lot of these protesters do not even represent the community. This is all the BJP doing this.
Siddaramaiah himself has agreed that they have diverted the money to implement the guarantee schemes, to implement some other unrelated schemes, when he himself has agreed what to do with the spokesperson of Congress and his statements, baseless statements. CM himself has agreed that he has diverted, that there is some misappropriation in handling the funds related to Valmiki Corporation, that there is irregularities related to the Muda, and he has himself agreed in the floor of the House itself. That shows that
let me then get in Khaleequr Rahman ji, because you also, sir, speak on behalf of the Congress here. Now, this is the Dalit Sangharsh Samiti that has accused the government there in Karnataka of diverting a major portion of the special component plan, it says, and the tribal sub-plan funds allocated for the development of the SC/STs towards implementing the 5 guarantees. Are you saying everyone is lying, Khaleequr Rahman ji? Why don't you accept कि हाँ पैसे नहीं है, we don't have the money?
Yeah, namaste to all my co-panelists and to all the viewers of your esteemed channel. Let me tell you that because this, you cannot allege this as a diversion of the funds. Because whatever this fund is there, this is again being utilized for the SC/ST. And the seriousness of the government here shows that the government has already allocated 21% of its budget for the welfare and the upliftment of the SC/ST. So this goes on to say that how friendly is the Karnataka Siddaramaiah government is towards the Dalits and the SC/ST. So these kind of allegations, the politically motivated allegations, I think is just to mislead the people. And the people know very well they will not get misled by this kind of accusations. And as my esteemed friend from the Congress spokesperson said, because what is the guarantee that all these protesters are from the Dalit community? Because the BJP, in fact, as we know what's happening in the state of Karnataka, the governor of Karnataka, I'm sorry to say, we have a huge respect for the chair of the governor, but the governor of Karnataka has been acting and playing a partisan role there and trying to dislodge.
So, Khaleequr Rahman ji, you are also saying much of what Mr. Gowda said, that I doubt the identity, the credentials of these protesters. This is, I think, the best alibi, Geeta, that any state will take. The moment you have people out on the streets protesting, they will say ki this is all funded by the opposition. These are not genuine people. But before, Geeta, I get you in, I have to, play out a reaction that has come in from the RSS earlier. Now, why this is important? Because Karnataka, again, under the last Siddaramaiah government, remember, had done this SEC. But the data was not released when it comes to that caste census / a survey. Now, today, for the first time, you have the RSS speaking about it. Let's quickly listen in, Geeta, to what we've heard from the RSS, and then I'm just coming back to you.
As our society, Hindu society, we have the sensitive issue of our caste and caste relations. That is a very sensitive issue. So, and of course, it is an important issue of our national unity and integrity. So, it should be dealt very seriously, not just on the basis of electioning or election practices or politics. So, I think as RSS think, yes, definitely for all welfare activities, particularly addressing to the particular community or caste which is lagging behind, and so which is the special attention is needed to some communities and caste. So for that, if sometime government needs the numbers, it is a very well practiced. So government needs the numbers, it takes, earlier also it has taken, so it can take it, no problem. But it should be only to address the welfare of those communities and caste. It should not be used as a political tool for electioneering. And so we put with a caution line for everyone.
So that is Sunil Ambekar making it very, very clear where does the RSS Geeta stand on the entire issue. Now, is this also a nudge for the government? The government that for the moment has been very, very cautious, Geeta, when it comes to the entire issue, and also a warning for the opposition in the same line where he says that this should not be used for political purpose. Is the RSS now openly batting for a caste census?
See, we know that in our country, historically, there are certain, communities who have been, in the form of education or in their financial status, historically, they were disadvantaged. And therefore, as our constitution also supports and guarantees that there should be some welfare, whether it is in terms of reservation or otherwise, so that we can, actually think of having an egalitarian society. And that is exactly what RSS has also been saying, that if there is any census that is required, it is meant as a data so that we can, whosoever is marginalized in the society, we can, put forward in terms of data, the government can use it for endorsing various welfare schemes for them, so that all communities, they are prospering and in the society, and they can be having an egalitarian society. And at the same time, the Karnataka issue in terms of Ahinda community, you see, earlier this community was, in a way, they have been supporters of the chief minister, but looking at this aspect, because let us also remember that very frequently, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, the Deputy CM, in many meetings has conveyed to the MLAs also that, there are no development funds which are available.
You're right.
It is there on record that because of the guarantees that they have promised, they cannot do any other development project and work. Their own MLAs have been demanding that we require money for development projects in our constituencies. And they have been, so this in a way is an indication that probably as there has been a sentiment among the community that the welfare funds are being diverted for keeping the guarantees. So it is important that for any government, that it is, if you are promising something, then it is important that that kind of revenue generation should also be there so that you can do the welfare projects as well as probably you have guaranteed something to the...
Okay, Geeta, you made a lot of important points. I just have the last 30 seconds to give to Mr. Gowda. Mr. Gowda, is the Congress now stuck between a rock and a hard place? You don't have money for your khatakhat promises.
Yes, madam.
You know, the Dalits, Ahindas, no matter whatever you want to call them, saying these are political protesters, they are now against you. On the other side, you have the RSS now that is openly batting for a caste survey. So, your entire pitch of Jiski Abadi Utna Haq is also hit back.
Madam, the BJP and RSS trying to mislead the whole mass. They will not going to be successful. They have been trying to mislead from the day one, because see, we have allocated the money for the guarantee schemes, 56,000 crores for 56,000 into 12 months already allocated. There is no question of we are struggling for allocation.
But
it's already allocated.
Mr. Gowda, you also know, even in the hill state of Himachal, there is no money. The ministers there are supposed to forego their salaries. You have, this Ahinda group that is out in the streets protesting in Karnataka.
Madam, in spite of, madam, please listen to me. Please listen to me. Please listen to me. It is state of Himachal is different. We are the second largest taxpayers in the country, and though our GST money we are not getting from the center, we are able to manage. We are managing all the show, all the developmental activities are happening, and development and tenders works are happening.
All right, we will see, Mr. Gowda, whether that assurance really works for the protesters who said we'll continue with the protest. Yes, only for word of time. Both gentlemen and both ladies, thank you so much, but we'll continue to track that story. Thank you for your time. On the other side, we are back with more.